Hello everyone, welcome back to Wolfpack Wednesday number 15, where we're doing a top 10 list of Gen Con 2023. Now, I didn't do a top X list leading up to Gen Con because honestly, there wasn't any particular title. My voice is also extremely raspy, but there wasn't any particular title that I was super interested in. But then being there and demoing the game and seeing the games in person completely changed my mind, which is why I'm doing a top 10 right now. So I'm also going to include some like mini vlog clips at the very end too, because I definitely don't have enough. I was really bad at vlogging this time. So I do have some fun little clips to share at the very end. But on that, I hope you're all doing well. Let's get started with number 10, which is Donut Shop by 25th Century Games. Now this one, honestly, the theme alone is a game that all my friends would absolutely love, because in this game, you're trying to complete sets of donuts, and you do that because there's like this tier of shelves. And I think how it works is you're placing a donut on the shelf and you're trying to match up donuts together, that way they match. And then you can also take other actions like boxing up your donuts and getting new donut cards. But honestly, like the theme alone is really fun. I feel like this was a missed opportunity to use like little donut tokens. I don't know how the game fully works yet, but I do know that in Seize the Bean, those little donut tokens would have been perfect to something similar to be used in Donut Shop. It's a game where I really love the theme, and I know a lot of my friends would absolutely love it too. So that right there is number 10, Donut Shop. Moving on to number 9. Okay, look, any reason for me to be obnoxious in a game, and by that I mean if I have any reason to just yell out spells all day, then I am in for this game, and that is Unmatched, Brains, and Brawn. The last time I covered Unmatched was with Moon Knight and Ghost Rider, but now they're releasing a set of 3. We have She-Hulk, Spider-Man, and your one and only Doctor Strange. So you see Doctor Strange in a set for Unmatched. I'm obviously all in for that. It looks freaking fun. I can't wait to just yell out his spells. If you don't know what Unmatched is, it's a PvP arena battler. Usually it's like 1v1 where you choose a character and just hash it out in an arena. But there's a lot of strategy to that. It's not just a mindless fight. So that's why I really love Unmatched, along with DSA, Disney Sources Arena. So I have a lot of really fun options to play if I'm going into arena battlers, and Unmatched, Brains and Brawn is definitely one of them, and that's why it's my number 9. Now moving on to number 8, something with a lot more meat involved. And if you've ever played Terra Mystica or Terra Nova, let me know what you think about those games down below. Should I play those before playing Age of Innovation, which is my number 8? Now this one is a very heavy game. I think it got like 4.19 on Board Game Geek. It's not the most reliable rating, but I kind of just go off of it on a whim. But it does look really fun because you are specializing in different schools, and I think they're not magic per se, but they're like sciences. And if you look at the box cover, you can actually see all these fun different elements. So anytime there's a game where there's like elements involved and you're specializing in a particular school and you're advancing in different levels of magic and progressing in that form, then I am sold for that. That's why Age of Innovation is number 8 on my list. I've always wanted to try Terra Mystica, or a lot of people compare that to Gaia Project, but if you've played those games before, please let me know down in the comments below if I should get into those games before diving into Age of Innovation. My number 8. Now, I've been searching for a deduction game ever since Werewolf and ever since Two Booms in a Room. I've always kind of like slightly searched for that party game that fits those two roles. Oh, also Night of the Ninja 2. So those 3 games are excellent for party deduction games, but I feel like this is the 4th one to add to that list if you're interested in a genre like that, and that is Dubious. Now in Dubious, first off, hands down one of the best artwork covers. Like, just look at how beautiful that is. That is freaking amazing. You have an invisible person with the Phantom Opera mask and holding a match. It just looks so crisp, so clean, and I love the artwork in this game. On top of that, in this game, what you're actually doing is, I feel like you are trying to guess everyone's character and secret, because I think there are 2 points to this game where you're trying to figure out what everyone's profession is and what everyone is hiding. What I found absolutely fascinating in a game like this is that you can actually choose a theme. You can choose like modern or Victorian England or fantasy too. So I haven't seen a game where you can actually choose the theme as you play, and that's why I ranked Dubious as my number 7. Now moving on to my number 6, I feel like I've been more open to space-themed games lately, and this is definitely one that I'm interested in, despite it being in space, and that is Planetfall. Now in Planetfall, it is a set collection game, but you have 7 rounds, and in those 7 rounds, you are spending 2 actions each turn to explore a particular planet. and going for its resources. As you do that, you also have asymmetric heroes that are going to lead you towards exploiting those planets' resources, and you can specialize in a lot of different tracks as well. There's also like this tier system, almost reminds me of like Seven Wonders, but in space. And Planetfall looks really, really fun. Okay, before moving on to the final five I'm very, very excited about, and one where it had an extreme line. I think this game sold out in like 16 minutes at Gen Con. Before we dive into that, if you are not subscribed to the Wolfpack, please consider doing so if you enjoy the content so far. And with that, let's go ahead and go on to number 5, which is Three Ring Circus. Now, this game, they at the DeVere booth, they were handing out popcorn, and it smells so good. I can smell it from like across the hall. Okay, check this out. I love circus-themed games, and we don't have enough of those. But in this one, you are a circus director leading or trying to hire a band of performers and actors as you're traveling across the map. And you start out with like a very, very minimal circus, but you keep expanding your map and scoring points in each region as you go. But you also get a different amount of points if you score in like a small city versus like a big city. And you also score even more bonus points if you happen to be scoring in the same city as the legendary Barnum Circus. I love the little circus umbrella tokens that are being used in this game, and overall, I just think it sounds super, super fun, and I can't wait to play this one. Okay, number 4, I saw this one announced on the Dice Tower, and that is Sunrise Lane by Reiner Knizia. In this game, in Sunrise Lane, you're actually building buildings, and it's a really light game because you discard a card that matches the color of the building you're trying to make. So I think if you discard like a blue card, then you'll make a blue building. But you can discard up to 5 cards in your turn, so you can like kind of combo it off. And as you build more buildings in a row, then you also will score a lot more points. Overall, the artwork is very light and airy. I feel like this is a game that would hit the table very, very often because of how easy it is to introduce to people. And the whole city building landscape and set collection and card drafting here sounds really, really fun. And sounds like a game that I can easily table. Number 3 on my top 10 games for Gen Con list is one that I fully demoed, or at least I saw one full turn of it being played out. And I feel like this is a game that directly challenges Heat. So if you've seen my past videos, you know that I've been raving about Heat for quite some time now. I love that game. And it's not, it's not the most original theme with a car racing aspect to it, but it's really, really fun because it's fast. And I love how tense it is as you're playing throughout this track. You're just like discarding cars back to back, and they're comboing off the speed movement points as you're kind of speeding across the track multiple times. But in Dungeon Cart by Brotherwise Games, I feel like it takes Heat and adds on the mechanics that I was definitely missing. And that is asymmetry. You have asymmetric heroes or villains or bosses, as they say. You have asymmetric bosses that give every single cart a unique power. You also have this like stick shift that actually shifts as you're going per turn, which is really cool. In Heat, you only have cards, but in Dungeon Card, you actually are shifting gears back and forth. And I think that's super fun and way more thematic, or at least in terms of like the production standpoint versus like playing cards into your Heat pile in Heat. And then also in Dungeon Cart, you only have one lap, and you're also trying to avoid obstacles. And it really feels like Mario Kart, but in board game form. And I feel like that's what Dungeon Cart is, and I'm extremely excited about their Kickstarter that's coming very, very soon. It definitely takes Heat and expands on it by adding a lot more complexity to it. Okay, last 2 games. Now this one I didn't pick up specifically at Gen Con, but it is a game that I'm going to try to find a deluxe copy of, and that is Redwood. Redwood is the first ever photography-centric game that I've seen and that I know about. I know that there are other games that incorporate photography, like with Parks, where you're using like a little camera token, but there aren't any games where I've seen where you are specifically a photographer. So naturally, of course, knowing this channel, you know that I'm going to be extremely interested in a game that's all about photography, but it doesn't sound like it's a full-on, it doesn't sound like a gimmick at all. Because in this game, you're playing as a photographer trying to take pictures of animals. And what's really cool and unique about it is that you're trying to form a panorama. But then as you're doing that, there's like this plastic kind of arc that's attached to your base, and then depending on where that spins, that's where you're trying to take a picture. And I think that's super unique and really, really fun. And I saw a lot of people in line for this one. It looks extremely fun, and the artwork too, that minimal cover with the lens and having like animals on top. That right there is a chef's kiss, or photographer's kiss right there. It was freaking amazing. Aside from that, in terms of core gameplay, it is a set collection game. You are trying to collect animals and photos, and you're also trying to collect different decorative items too. So it looks really fun. It looks about light to medium weight, and I'm very, very excited for it. That's why it's my number 2 for my Gen Con top 10. Now, leading on to my number 1, which was not anywhere near my radar until I was at Gen Con like day 2, day 3, when I heard it sold out in like 16 minutes. And then when I saw the game itself, I was like, whoa, this looks really, really fun, actually. So this is Queen by Midnight. It is a PvP arena battler, and it almost feels like Dice Throne, but with a different spin to it. Because in this game, the theme is the queen has died, and her last announcement, her last will was to have a trial by midnight. So a bunch of other princesses have joined in on this fight, and now they are fighting to see who is the strongest one out of them all. The player boards are super unique. I also love how there's this central clock tower that will give you a market of cards to buy from. It also tells you the turn order, and it also acts as a dice tower. Come on, how freaking cool is that? So I've been looking for another PvP arena battler ever since I've been playing Dice Throne. Honestly, Dice Throne is one of my most played games, despite how light it is, because it's just so easy to travel with. And I feel like because of that, Queen by Midnight is one that has instantly shot on my radar. My number 1 most excited for game from Gen Con, and it's a game that I can't wait to be released very, very soon. I think it's releasing in like a couple weeks. Now, other than that, I do have one honorable mention. If you've been following the channel, you know that I've been very excited actually about Lorcana, but I wasn't even gonna bother waiting for those lines. If you didn't hear about it, those lines for Lorcana started at 6 p.m. the day before, and the exhibit halls don't open till 10 a.m. So at a minimum, you are waiting for 16 hours for an opportunity to purchase Disney Lorcana. Just that alone is like an extreme turn off. I'm not trying to back on anybody who waited in line. If you did, good for you. I hope you got the cards that you wanted. But I just feel like the accessibility to Lorcana has steadily decreased my excitement for it, because I did go to Disney Expo. I waited in line for 6 hours for it, 4 hours for it, and I didn't end up getting it there either. And then going to Gen Con, I was like, maybe I might have an opportunity. I was pretty skeptical though, and rightfully so, because there was just no way you're gonna get the game. But what's cool is that it is gonna be in retail in about a couple weeks. So once that does start, then I would be very, very excited to be covering Lorcana on my channel, and hopefully do some 1v1 gameplays too, because I've been really wanting to play this game, and I'm glad that it's coming out very soon. Not so glad of the way they handled the whole exhibition hall at Gen Con, but I was not alone. That many people voiced their concerns for that. Okay, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed my top 10 list for Gen Con. Let me know which one you are most excited about down in the comments below if you made it here all the way to the very end. And with that, I'm just going to throw up some fun clips for some behind the scenes stuff as an ending credit. So other than that, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here as always. And I'll see you all in the next one.
Higgins Cosmos series in 2014. I believe it was you in the back. That is, do you have one already? Do you have, then you get one. The answer correct.
Dwellings of Eldervale tonight, though. Ready? Yeah, baby! Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
So you can start, Jenna, in any forest you want. So the board is comprised of 2 main elements.